Coming up on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports, according to Jay Glazer, the 49ers are, quote, enamored with Trey Lance. Dante Fowler, the third overall pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, has been released by the Atlanta Falcons. Pretty good scheme fit for DeMeco Ryan should the 49ers sign him in NFL free agency. But first, this is why you subscribe to the channel. We're about 50 people away from 56,000 as we continue to reach all of these milestones here on the channel. And now that the offseason is here, we have you covered with all things Niners. News, rumors, free agency updates, as well as the NFL Draft. Hit that red subscribe button down below to join the faithful family here at Chat Sports and join the Niner Gang, which is the largest 49ers news and rumors channel right here on YouTube. And with that, let's start today's show. You're watching the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Chase Senior. Hope all of the Niner faithful is having a fantastic week. According to Jay Glazer, spoke with some sources inside that practice facility in Santa Clara, did an interview with Matt Mayoko of NBC Sports Bay Area. He was asked about Trey Lance and the organization's feelings on him, the number 3 overall pick in the 2021 NFL Draft, and he had some pretty interesting things to say. He said, quote, the 49ers are enamored with Trey Lance. Furthermore, here's what he had to say about Lance. I've heard great stuff about him behind the scenes. I heard that the 49ers love him. They're enamored with him. He does some things in practice that make you go, oh my goodness, but he's young. Yes, we'll explore the young aspect of this conversation coming up here in just a few moments, but when you talk about the raw ability of Trey Lance, he certainly has it. Has an arm almost to the likes of Josh Allen and can also run the football. And in nowadays NFL, if you have a quarterback with that skill set, you can take over the league, especially when you pair him with the offensive mastermind that is Kyle Shanahan. Now, with what he was able to do at North Dakota State, he put up some absolutely stupid numbers. Now, he didn't play that much, but when he was on the field in limited action at the FCS level, he tore up the competition. 318 passing attempts. That's the only amount of times that he chucked the football while with North Dakota State, but completed around 65% of his passes, threw for nearly 3,000 yards, 30 touchdowns to 1 interception, meaning that his decision-making and accuracy with the football at the college level was really good. He's going to have to continue to tinker with those mechanics during the offseason, and that's really the big focus for him. But 19 games and he put up this stat sheet? That's pretty crazy for Trey Lance. And it's not all that he did. He's a dual threat. That's why I continue to say that if Trey Lance is ready to go and you play him this upcoming year, I think the 49ers ceiling as a team, as an offense, is higher this upcoming year in 2022 as compared to what it was last year with Jimmy Garoppolo, who's a middle-tier quarterback who athletically is somewhat gifted. And Lance, he can run it, he can chuck it, and in his first 2 starts, his only 2 starts as a rookie, what I loved from Trey Area is the growth that I saw from that Cardinals start to the Texans start and some of the adjustments that happened along the way, especially when you compare the tape from the first half of that Texans game to the second half, where he started to get more acclimated, he started to get a lot more comfortable. Everybody wants to label this guy a bust because he wasn't able to unseat Garoppolo this past year. But think about this. We talk about the passing attempts, or lack thereof. He didn't have a lot of experience at the FCS level. North Dakota's season in 2020 was cut short, only played 1 game because of COVID. And when he was drafted at number 3 overall, he was only 20 years old. You combine that also with the fact that Kyle Shanahan's system is really complex. And after the 49ers got off to that 3-5 start, Kyle Shanahan thought long and hard about pivoting from Garoppolo to Lance. He went with the veteran, and it worked out in the Niners' favor as they were able to win 9 of their last 12 games en route to their second NFC Championship game in 3 years. But in that NFC title game, you saw that the 49ers offense had a cap. You saw that the Rams with the more dynamic quarterback were the more dangerous offense. That's why they made it into the Super Bowl, and that's why the 49ers were sent packing. Peter King also saying, He believes that the 49ers ceiling as an entire team higher with Lance as compared to Garoppolo. So these are the conversations that we're going to continue to have if the 49ers want to move forward with Trey Lance as the starter in 2022. And speaking of that, I ask you this. If Trey Lance is the starter this upcoming year, and it's not Jimmy G, it's not Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, or Deshaun Watson, or another veteran quarterback, what's your confidence level in him if he is QB1? H for high, L for low, sound off and you tell me in the comment section right now. Yesterday on my live show, I was finally able to wear my San Francisco shirt, and you can still get yours by going to chatsports.com/SF. I didn't want y'all to think that I'm grimy, dirty, don't practice good hygiene if I wore the same shirt on back-to-back days, because sometimes you get that armpit sweat. But either way, whether you're sweating or not, if you're rocking this shirt, you're looking damn good. Support the 49ers support. Show your love for San Francisco and this football team by copying your shirt right now. We've been sending these all across the world, literally. So get yours today by going to chatsports.com/SF. I will put that link in the comment section as well as the description of this video. Next up on the show, somewhat of a surprising move for the Atlanta Falcons as they have released Dante Fowler. When he came out of Florida, was drafted number 3 overall in the 2015 NFL draft by the Jacksonville Jaguars, he has not lived up to those lofty expectations because when he was coming out of the college ranks, a lot of people expected him to be the next great pass rusher. Here's the deal. We've seen him be great in some instances and throughout some of his seasons in the NFL. But the common theme, I'll tell you more about that coming up and why I think he'd be a good fit with the 49ers. Now, he's really had a Jekyll and Hyde career. And some years he's been great. Other years he's been average to below average to bad. You take a look at what he was able to do back in 2017 with a really good Jacksonville Jaguars defense with an excellent supporting cast. He was terrific that year, folks. 8 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, 7 tackles for loss, and 2 forced fumbles. Then he had a couple of down years. Then he goes to the Los Angeles Rams. And once again, when he's with a really good defense with some good star-studded talent surrounding him, once again, he rose up to the occasion and he was really, really good. 12 sacks, 16 quarterback hits, 16 tackles for loss as he was very active in the backfield, and 3 forced fumbles. That's what led to him getting a big free agency deal with the Atlanta Falcons because pass rushers come at the absolute premium in today's pass-happy NFL, but he was let go because he hasn't lived up to those expectations of getting paid the big bucks. Now, what is this overarching theme for Dante Fowler? He has always been really effective on a good defense with good complementary pieces. What do the Niners have? Really good defensive coordinator, an excellent defense that from week 10 on was one of the best in the NFL, and a lot of really good players along that defensive front. Now, we can't only give credit to DeMeco Ryans. Kris Kocurek has done a terrific job as a defensive line coach of developing defensive linemen. I mean, he's just done a hell of a job, and it's time people take notice of what he's been able to do, because if he were to leave, this 49ers defensive line would take a step back. I'm just happy he didn't go to Miami with Mike McDaniel to potentially take that defensive coordinator job, because this guy as a defensive line coach, one of the best in the NFL. Kocurek's work this past year and in years prior, great. Nick Bosa is just one of the best, missile-seeking edge rushers in the NFL. 15.5 sacks coming off that torn ACL. Arden Key was labeled a bust with the Las Vegas Raiders. He comes to the 49ers and has a breakout campaign, signing a 1-year deal worth north of $1 million, puts forward 6.5 sacks. Arik Armstead moved from edge rusher to defensive tackle, and he really had a career year, the back half of it. Samson Ebukam, a big free agency signing. First half of the year wasn't good. Once he became acclimated with the system, he was really good as well. And DJ Jones isn't a great sack master, but he's one of the best defensive tackles against the run. The numbers back that up. So if Dante Fowler were to be signed by San Francisco, first of all, it's probably an appealing destination for him, considering that this Niners defense is well coached at the DC spot, defensive line spot, and he's looking at a defensive line that's star-studded. He's like, yo, I got to play alongside Aaron Donald, and I had the best year of my career. When I was with that Jags defense, we made it to the AFC Championship game, and that year I was really, really good as well. Here's also what comes into play. If Dante Fowler, you can pick him up on the cheap. If you can get him for an affordable price, that's a really good rotational piece. Arden Key is going to get paid this offseason. Let's say he might leave. You need another pass rusher in addition to a guy like Charles Omenihu or a Jordan Willis. Dante Fowler would be able to fill in that role and give you a little bit of a linebacker hybrid, defensive line hybrid type of player, kind of like what Samson Ebukam is, but I think he's better than a player like Samson Ebukam. So pretty good breakdown of what Fowler has been able to do. When he has good pieces around him, he's good. When that's not the case, he ain't that great. But with San Francisco, he wouldn't have to worry about the latter. Niner gang, chime into the comment section once more. I ask you this before we get out of here. Would you sign Dante Fowler? And because he got cut now, I believe he can sign with the team at any point, even though free agency kicks off on March 16th. Type Y for yes, type N for no. Thanks for making today's show a part of your day, and don't forget to subscribe.